Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sasha. Today we're going to be doing hopefully a quick book review because the sun is setting quickly. We're on a time crunch. I'm also freezing. This has been such a weird day. I went outside earlier today, was so hot, sweating. I had to change my clothes. I had to completely redo my outfit, try again. And then as the day goes on, it's now freezing again. So Florida, what are we doing? Get it together. Editing Sasha here. Before we begin the rest of the video, we're going to take a quick pause to hear a word from our sponsor. Hey there friends, it's me, Sasha, and today's sponsor is my Etsy shop, Dreaming of Stars Co. Have you ever wished you could match the vibe of your favorite book to a bookmark? Have you ever started reading a book but wanted to take a break and realized there was nothing close by except the last receipt from your library to use to hold your place? Hey, we're here to listen. We don't judge. Whether it's dark romance, queer, indie, fantasy, sci-fi, nonfiction, we've got bookmark designs just for you. And when I say we, it's really just me, but the we makes it sound, official or something. All my bookmarks are made right here in this very room by me, myself, Sasha Marie. You can use code WELCOME10 on your first order for a discount. Thank you so much for watching. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming. I got this book, Bull Moon Rising. My mouth's a little cold, so wish me luck. Anyway, I got this book, Bull Moon Rising by Ruby Dixon, from my library, as you can see. I read it, enjoyed it, really liked all of the different details from this copy, and I also peeked. I didn't take it off, but I peeked with my eyeballs to see what might be under this cover. And then I found a gift card for Target and got my own copy today. So now we don't have to peek. I can just show you what's under here. Beautiful things. That's what's under here, okay? She is beauty, she is grace. She is Bull Moon Rising. And I didn't notice this because you can't see it in the library copy. They're in the moon. They are shining down on themselves. What is this? What's this over here? It's just a flower. I thought maybe it had some sort of significance. It's just a flower. I read this book, and it was very interesting, the timing of this, because I read this book at the very same time that an author on TikTok decided to talk about her orc monster romance, and the name of the main character sounded so eerily similar to a slur. If you aren't chronically online, if you aren't chronically in the book space, you may have missed this discussion. So all of that was happening while I was reading this monster romance. So at the forefront of my mind is, number one, the books are political discussion. I'm also watching two squirrels fight over the same tree. So my attention is really torn right now. So if I'm talking but looking outside, no, I'm with you, but I'm also invested in who's gonna win and take over the tree. Okay. So at the front of the mind, while reading this book, is obviously the discussion on books in general being political. Also, people saying that smut isn't political. Okay. And this discussion of like, well, I turn my brain off when I read, and I'll be frank with you here. I used to be one of those people who said that. I 100% used to say and think and believe that. And that's a whole other discussion we could go into. I no longer read with my brain off, and I read very intentionally now. So people can grow. People can change. I am no longer in that camp of books are just for fun and escape. Books also are a learning experience each and every time you read one. Bull Moon Rising is the best example of a smutty monster romance being so much more, while also just being a smutty monster romance. Like, I didn't know a single thing about this book going into it other than this author wrote about those blue aliens, and everyone was going bananas over these blue aliens. I have not been transported into that series yet. I'm still waiting on the little aliens to like beam me up. I'm sure we'll get there because I loved this book so much. So all I was expecting was a lot of monster smut, a lot of spice, a lot of fun. We did get a ton of spice. We did get a lot of romance. It was really sweet. It was wonderful to watch this marriage of convenience turn into a human and a Taurian, which is basically a bull-like humanoid creature, have these two creatures fall in love in their marriage of convenience. She's a virgin, she's inexperienced, he's quite the opposite. And it was so lovely to watch him teaching her about the finer pleasures of life, and also watching her finally have someone she can just lean on, literally and physically, literally and metaphorically and physically in all of the ways, and have someone someone who worries about her, someone who wonders why she's not home yet, someone who notices when she's maybe not telling the truth, or, all of these things that you need someone who cares about you to have that experience, and our main female character has never had that before. So that alone is just the discussion on like the romance and the smut side of things. It is also a great representation of, like, you could say racism, because he's completely different. He's this bull-like creature and she's a human. And there are so many instances when they're together and people defer to her, which is in and of itself another conversation, because if she's with a group of men, human men, they defer to the men. She no longer exists either. But it is just wild to watch. Like, there are so many things that if you just have your brain on, you will see as you read this book. So let me tell you a little bit about the plot, and then we'll talk about all of the isms and some of the ones I missed probably that are in this, so you know what you're getting yourself into if you want, or if you've already read it. Maybe there are things you didn't notice that I did, and vice versa. We can chat about it, okay? Our female main character comes from privilege. Essentially, there's also an entire discussion about being noble, born of nobility, born of wealth, how the wealthy stay wealthy and the poor stay poor, and there is no physical way for them to move from being poor to wealthy to noble. If you're noble, you're born noble, you die noble. Nothing changes that, okay? That system is set in stone. That's the first thing. She's born noble. Her father has a gambling addiction. He's gambled away all of their finances. They are penniless. They are magical artifact-less. They don't have anything to defend their house and their little town of people who, I'm sure, tithe and pay taxes to her noble head of house, her father. Her only way to get out of this is to marry someone. The problem is, once they realize she's poor and they have no money, there's a very high chance that they're going to kill her, marry someone who's not poor and who's younger and prettier, and have their babies instead. So she ends up breaking off an engagement, and she goes into the seedy city, which is really quite nasty. Not great, some thievery happening, it's gross, it smells, it's wet. Everything is described as just, it's always so wet. For reasons. I mean, just think about, if there aren't really toilets, where does it all go, right? Okay. So that's kind of what we're dealing with. She goes on this little adventure to join this school, essentially, to become an artifact retriever. I don't know the terms of things well. I'm just saying it in my own way. It's much better in here. It's said much better in here. There are, like, names of things and they're legit. Me, I'm making it up as I go. So she goes on this adventure with her servant, her maid. And there's a whole discussion throughout this book of the disparity between the maid and the wealthy person, and how even if you're taken out of those circumstances, that never ever changes. There's such a good discussion actually towards the end of the book, when the maid finds something and our female main character, the noblewoman, is like, no, you keep it, you found it. And the maid is like, if I'm found with this, I'm going straight to jail and they're probably going to kill me. If you're found with this, they're going to be like, oh, how silly. She's just acting out and she's having a little adventure. And then everyone is like, yeah, the noble female main character needs to keep this thing, because everyone else who could be found with it would just be killed on sight. Because, like, that's the class system we're dealing with. The teacher in this novel also has alcoholism, and it's not necessarily like a happy ending sort of thing. It's a very real, raw examination of the disease, and how even if you have the best intentions and do want to get better, it just robs you of your future unless you get proper help and actually make strides every single day, every single hour, every single minute to never touch alcohol ever again. There's a whole discussion about that in the book. I already touched on the racism. There are 3 main races as far as we were told about. There were the humans, there are the Taurians, who are the bull-like creatures, and there are Slitherskins, who I think are maybe snail-like creatures, humanoid snails. They have a house on their back that they can remove and crawl into, and like, the best I can understand is like a snail. And they also can lick their eyeball, which is maybe giving more lizard or snake-like. Gecko. So it's like a mix of amphibians. I don't really know which type, but so we have the 3 main races here, and obviously humans are at the top of the food chain. Then I would say Taurians are maybe second, and then Slitherskins are third. So the Slitherskin focused on our story is the only one who's ever been accepted to this school. He's the first. He's doing big things, which is sort of a theme of our whole little cohort of characters. They are all sort of the first of their family or the first of the school, and the first trying to do something really that shouldn't be so impressive and crazy. So that brings us to misogyny and the patriarchy and just how awfully women are treated in this society and in this story. Our little cohort are all women and one Slitherskin who is a male Slitherskin. While they're going through training, while they're meeting with all of the other classes, anytime it's not just the 5 of them and their 2 teachers, they deal with sexual harassment and physical harassment at every turn. Lewd remarks are being made towards them. They're trying to physically harm them. They sabotage all of their food and supplies, and it's just a boys' club that has gone unchecked for years and years and years. It's gone unchallenged, and it's just this status quo of like, the system works, so why change it? Women have no place here, and blah, 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 blah. That's a whole nother big theme in this book. There's honestly even more that I'm forgetting, but I feel like I've been rambling at you so much in this video. If you want a better understanding of like all of the political aspects of this novel, please go check out my written review on my blog, readwithme.com. I am much more intelligent when I write. When words come out of my mouth, it's a crapshoot of what they're going to be, of what order they're going to be in, and if they make any sense whatsoever. So, despite me having done YouTube and filming videos and reviews and reactions for many, many years now, still not so good with the talking. I don't know if that's the autism or if it's just a me thing. Could be both. Could be neither. Who knows? That's my review on Bull Moon Rising. The reason I wanted to get myself a physical copy of this book was because I went into this not knowing what the story would be. I really was just like, monster smut. Like, I was programmed for monster smut. I got that. But I also got so much more. And it's the way that all of these themes were woven so seamlessly throughout the story and the plot and the society as a whole that I kind of want to dissect that a little bit more and keep rereading this so I can learn how to craft my own writing in that way so that it's subtle enough that it's not just like hitting you over the face like, this is feminism at work, this is the patriarchy, this is racism, this is alcohol and addiction and gambling, and like, I want it to be as subtle as I think that it was in here. Because even though I was able to pick up on it and it's pretty obvious to me, if you're reading with your brain off, I think you clearly can skip past some of this stuff. So my voice is going. This means I need to end the video now. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys give this book a chance. If you haven't read it, I've kind of said a lot. So I don't know if it's I don't know. It's up to you, I guess. If you've already read it, what are your thoughts? Please let me know in the comments below. I'd love to chat with you about it. I definitely am going to get on the train for Ice Planet Barbarians. I've been looking it up. There's like 12 books. I don't know that that's right. There's a lot though. I thought there were maybe like 4. And then I looked her up on bookshop.org and there's so many. There are so many. It's crazy. So some of my goals for 2025, start Zodiac Academy and probably start Ice Planet Barbarians. Those are some of my longer series. I have some shorter series I want to get to too. I think 2025 might be the year of this series. I'm just talking out of my ass. I don't know that for sure, and I can't guarantee that. Anyway, I'm gonna go. This has been so long. Thank you for listening. I've already said goodbye, I think, so let me do it for real. Goodbye!